Welcome back to TMI with Teryl and Martha, and we have got a very special guest today. But first, I want to remind you that if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe because we would love for you to be a part of this community. But Teryl, we got a special guest today.
I'm so very excited, Martha. You know my daughter, and but I'm not sure if everybody knows. This is my daughter, Frankie Burns. She's my oldest of the three, and I have talked about her on the show, even though she said, "Mom, please don't."
I did tell her that.
But I did anyway. Anyway, I'm proud to introduce her to our podcast audience and our YouTube audience. She is a very important person with a company called Budsies. It's an online store company, and I'm going to let her explain what she does and who she is with the company. But they're doing some amazing things out there, and I thought this would be a good heartwarming kind of section of our podcast so that you could talk about all the neat things you guys are doing with the nonprofits.
Thanks, Mom. And yes, originally when she said she was doing a podcast called TMI, I was like, please don't mention my name.
She did, very first time.
Yeah, I was like, my name with TMI. I was like, I can only imagine the information you're going to put out there. But it's been amazing watching the podcast, and I'm happy to be on.
Yay. I'm glad to have you. So let's tell everybody a little about who you are, what your role is, a little bit about the company and what you guys are doing to help the community, the United States, anywhere in the United States, really.
Well, in the world. So we're an e-commerce platform. The name is Budsies, BUDSIES.com. And that's sort of the parent brand. So Budsies was started a decade ago, and we were originally turning children's artwork into stuffed animals. Nobody had historically been able to do something like this and scale it to, the entire world. There's obviously Etsy providers and one-off artists out there who are brilliant. And we always say, no matter where you go, we just think it's amazing that this option exists for people. And so then we sort of transitioned into the pet space.
Yes.
Because yes, it was a natural sort of transition because our customers were like, hey, well, we're sending you photos of art, but what if I sent you a photo of my pet? We're like, okay, we're yes people. Sure, why not? Let's do this. And so, we spoke to our artists and designers, and then the Budsies space was born. And so now people can send us photos of their pets, and we turn those into cuddly little stuffed animal replicas. And then another thing that we do that I personally really, really love, because it brings in this aspect of inclusivity, is we make plush dolls of people. And you can kind of see some back here. This is actually my husband.
It's my son-in-law.
My husband is on the podcast. We make stuffed animals of people as well. And we work with a lot of nonprofits.
That would be stuffed people.
Yes, stuffed people. We work with a lot of nonprofits for inclusivity dolls. So kids with limb differences, kids with scarring, with cochlear implants, with wheelchairs.
Right.
We're able to
wonderful.
create a doll that looks just like them. And there's something very special and precious about things like that, that it allows a child to unbox something that looks just like them. And they don't get that in your usual Barbie dolls or the mass-produced toys out there in the world. And so those types of things to me are what make Budsies so special, is providing a space where people can get plushies of pets that have passed. We work with a lot of people who are grieving. And then we work with a lot of nonprofits, CHOA specifically, with kids who are undergoing cancer. And, as I don't know if you've spoken about that on the podcast.
No, but I got to be a part of that. So that was really special. Who else went with me? Was it? Anyway, I was a part of
I think it was Aunt Lala.
Yeah, my sister. I was able to, we went to one of the CHOA hospitals. I think it was Scottish Rite. And we then presented the boxes to the kids. They brought all the kids in from the cancer floor to a special room, and we got to be there and be a part of watching them unbox their own very special drawing, I think it was. So they The hospital submitted the drawings of these children, every child on the cancer floor. And we got to be a part of the presentation for,
Oh,
we
that's
represented Budsies.
Yes.
That's really
And,
exciting.
oh my God, it was just, some kids were crying.
It was adorable.
It was amazing. The parents were crying because, we didn't know how these children's battle was going to end.
Mhm.
And you could see the parents just grabbing these plushies of their child's drawing. And they were just as, tearful as we were.
Well, so
So-
thankfully, I mean, in children's cancer, in the children's cancer space, we're doing so much
Much more.
better. I
Yes.
mean, there's so much more work that needs to be done. But, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, CHOA, they do such a fantastic job. We also have a lot of great work that gets done in this community
Right.
as far as dealing with children with cancer. And so, wow, what a great project.
Yeah.
What a
And that
great
was one of the
project.
first ones. And I remember it had to have been about a decade ago when we started the program.
Yeah. I
The
think it
Budsies
was.
Pals Fund is the program. And that's where we, get with sponsors and we raise funds and we provide these at no cost to the families.
So is this usually corporate sponsors or individual sponsors?
It can
How
be
does that work?
it can be anyone. So we do work with corporate sponsors, and that's always lovely. And then we usually get the most adorable thank you videos and cards for them. It's so sweet. And then we work with individual sponsors as well. So anyone can go on the website and they can donate a kit. And we have a drop down list that has all of our nonprofits that we work with. Whether it's CHOA or Kids in Art is an organization out in California, or the Ronald McDonald House. We've worked with a lot of organizations. We've even worked with foster communities, so kids in foster care, because for us, it's about giving this experience to kids who could use an opportunity to just have fun and do
Right.
something unique and special that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
And use their imagination. I mean,
Absolutely.
in the complete way. Back in the day when my daughter was growing up, there was a company called My Twin Dolls. I don't even know if they're out there
I think
anymore.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I
and
think I
and
remember.
I did that with her. And it was, you submitted a picture and you gave special things, and she had a little she had fallen and she had a little scar on her cheek, and so we were able to make the doll where it had a scar on the cheek, and you had the little matching outfits and all that stuff.
That's
But
amazing.
that kind of stuff is really special,
really
and
special.
Yeah.
it gives you this
Yeah.
opportunity to be able to share with your children, kind of how to tell stories. I
Right.
mean, and right now in my own life, I'm just writing down all of these stories so I don't forget them. I'm a great storyteller,
That's
but
a great
as I'm
idea.
thinking of them, I'm
Yeah.
writing down all these stories. I started out trying chronologically, but that wasn't working, and so I started just thinking of stories, and every day when I think of a couple of stories, I write them down, and so that I don't forget them, or that someday along the line, somebody will get it. But that's kind of what Budsies does. Budsy allows adults, children, whatever it is, to be able to talk about a lot of different things, as well as have this little toy that
Right.
they can relate to.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really special. And, working in something in a place where I feel like I'm making valuable contributions to the world. To me, that's the most meaningful part of my job, is like, is this a value? I'd be hard pressed to sell something that I didn't truly believe in. And so it makes my job really easy.
The apple didn't fall far from the tree.
I know.
I
Very
feel the
similar.
same exact way. And, Frankie, you started in the industry. She started right here, she graduated from Brunel, and went to work with Full
Full media.
Media,
Mhm.
who is right here, and
Homegrown company.
Yeah, we've
Homegrown.
got homegrown companies here in Gainesville, and she did such a good job with them. When it came time for her to move to Boca Raton, Florida, they kept her aboard and got her a computer and let her move off to Boca Raton and set up shop there. Then she felt she was starting to feel a little,
Yeah, I needed
you know.
human interaction. This
Yeah.
was way before COVID, where now all of us are used to obviously working from home. I've been working from home since 2020, but back then it was like not normal. I'm 23. I'm like, I need
She needed
friends.
a
I need-
village. She needed
Yes.
a community of sorts.
Especially living
Yeah.
in Florida. I, was away from home. And so
Mhm.
I then started working for a resort timeshare company doing their editing. I was a copywriter. I did their digital analytics and all of that fun stuff. And then I met the founder and owner of Budsies. just by chance, I had planned a birthday party for a friend of mine, and he happened to be in attendance and was like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and was like, hey, what do you do? And we sort of got to talking, and I was like, oh, well, I'm in marketing. And well, I so happen to need somebody in marketing. And, I thought it was
The
going to.
old days.
Yes.
When people used to look
Yes.
for jobs that way. That's a
Well,
whole
I was
nother
going to
subject.
say, like this whole time she kept interacting with him socially. He was interviewing her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she was just casual and just chatting with him. And I mean, that's what's a good thing to come out of this episode, too, is not just all the wonderful things Budsies is doing,
Yeah.
but what happens when you go out and interact with other people, the opportunities that can sometimes open up in those situations.
It's so funny because we've talked about it before where one of my things that I'm really concerned about is that today, it's a sign of age when you start talking about the good old days, but young people, they do these job applications in this AI space.
Yeah.
And instead of somebody meeting like you and getting to know somebody organically, and then maybe, oh, I would know of somebody that has a job and you get to do that, they get eliminated if a word is wrong on their resume or something like that. And there's no way you can make a resume for every job. I mean, that's just not possible. I guess maybe with AI it is, but it's frustrating to me that we've got to get the human interaction back into the
in.
world.
I
Okay.
agree. 100%.
I love technology. I mean, you've been able to do what you do with Budsies because of a lot of technological
Absolutely.
advances. That's great. It's finding the boundaries of where that needs to be so you don't lose that human interaction. My oldest son has been working from home his whole career because he has a very special set of skills. He's 43 years old. So 15 years before COVID,
Right.
he had a home office where that's mainly where he
amazing.
was working from, because his skill set was so special that he could choose where he wanted to live and everybody would make it work. But I think he lost something
Yeah.
because of that.
But
Now
not being around people socially.
but
Yes.
he's created these communities, and so he's kind of filled that gap now because people do need human interaction. And in a
Absolutely.
funny way, Budsies gives you that. Okay.
Absolutely.
So it's not, even though it's a doll and even though you're enjoying this, it helps, bridge those gaps.
1,000%. And I agree. It used to be so organic in how you would have these interactions. I mean, I tell people that story all the time and they're like, what? And I started
pretty
out
awesome.
just, I was maybe the fourth hire. We were very bootstrap startup. And so
And he was on, what was the
Shark
show?
Tank.
He was on Shark Tank.
Yes.
So
Wow.
he didn't
Budsies
take
was
the
on
money,
Shark Tank.
did he? He didn't take the
We
money,
got a
did
couple of offers. We didn't take the money. Their
Because they want to
issue-
own everything.
do.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, it is very hard. But their their issue was they didn't think that we'd be able to scale, and I can say that the sharks were wrong. You were wrong, sharks. We were able to scale, and we've been doing fantastic. We have a lovely team, and we're also trying to find the unique boundaries with
Right.
AI
And a
the
brand new owner,
technology.
really.
Yeah.
He's very exciting and excited about
Yes.
the company. and-
Absolutely. We have a new owner, Scott, and he's been with the company for several years now,
yeah.
and just trying to breathe new life into it, keep up. We always say that Blockbuster was an amazing, innovative company, but they didn't keep moving.
right.
And so therefore they died out, and so
Yeah, but don't you miss browsing in
I
that
do.
store
I
That
do.
was-
for the
I-
thing
I remember
on Friday
taking-
nights?
Our
Friday
families
nights.
would go Friday nights, and I
Yep.
would take Frankie and Savannah by the hand, and we'd go walking through Blockbuster.
yes.
Savannah, I don't think Maddie was born yet because she was.
Maddie was around.
Maddie was like 10 and 7 years younger than the other two.
So
So,
we
she
were-
didn't get as many Blockbuster trips as
We
the
were
other
laughing
two
about
did.
how kids are, your age group, and our kids, as we were raising them, had that fabulous mall experience.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
where the malls
Yes.
had great setups. They had.
Yes.
I'm sure you went to a Build-A-Bear during that period of
Oh,
time,
yeah.
which is like
1,000%.
a University of Georgia company. Okay,
Yes.
so
Oh,
I love
is
that.
it?
So yes,
It
it's the
is.
first billionaire, that company that came out of the University of Georgia, and a female owner. So
Is
I
he
love
a-
that.
I love
you
that.
know?
Was he a double dog or a triple dog?
Yeah, I know. She was a double dog. She was a double dog. But it's so it was that kind of community. It was almost like the mall was the community, in a lot of ways. And I'm not saying we should go back to that, but at Christmas time and other times
Oh,
like
it was
that,
so
I kind of
much
miss that.
fun.
I
Yeah.
missed it too. The Hollister smell, I can still
Yes,
I
yes.
still smell it walking by.
So would you see? So would there be a Budsy store sometime? Do you think is there a storefront anywhere or someplace you do enough business where it would make sense to have a Budsy store?
We've considered it, but because everything is so handmade
Yes.
Right.
and customized,
Customized.
it's hard to create something like Build-A-Bear's great, but they have base materials,
Right.
so everything is already pre-made, and really what they're going in there to do is pick some clothes, pick some
Yeah.
outfits, a
It's
couple
the
of
same. It's like a standard copy bear.
Yes.
yes,
multiple-
so-
yeah.
which is lovely because it gets you out of the house. It's something fun to do with the kids. Budsies is different in that it's entirely unique. It's your company's logo. It's your book character. It's your child's weird doodle. It's you. It's your pet. Everything is done by hand, and so that takes time. And especially as we get more and more orders
Right.
during the holidays is
So
absolute mayhem.
what's the biggest number you've had to produce of something?
In terms of like per month or
Like for the
No, like
holiday,
an item.
maybe.
Like an item. Like, is there a particular item that you produced a lot of, or is they all so special that you don't produce many of any of them?
Well, Petsies, we do a lot of chihuahuas.
Yes.
We do a lot of chihuahuas.
Chihuahuas.
It's one of our, I was looking at our top breeds,
Little
and
chihuahuas.
chihuahuas is like number one out there.
That's awesome.
Well, you can see that though, because Chihuahuas live a long time.
Yeah.
So you get a lot more attached to them. The
Mhm.
smaller they are, the longer they live.
Well-
Is one of those, kind of things.
Yeah.
I feel that. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got a Saint Bernard.
Yeah,
Don't
but
you?
they don't live as long. And I'm
Right.
not saying I don't get attached to my sweet Saint Bernard. Sissy is amazing, but they're 10, 8 to
Yeah.
12 years is kind of what a giant
Right.
dog,
Yeah.
their lifespan.
Yeah.
But a Chihuahua, you can have 20 years. I had a friend of mine that
That's
that
amazing.
had this cat named Taurus,
Oh gosh.
lived to be
Cats
24.
will be like
I mean,
27 years
24.
old.
I mean, it was crazy. I mean, this was like the cat in Cats, the Grisella who was
Yeah.
all, the fur was missing and all
Just-
this.
it looked like
Amazing.
something out of a horror flick.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And but I'm sure was loved all the
Yeah.
way to the end.
Very much. It is so funny because we'll get people who are ordering and it's their dog. So they're talking about, oh, my sweet precious, it has, it's this type of breed and it could be like 5 names.
Yeah.
And then detail after detail. And then with the cats, it's like, here's my orange cat. Thank you. And it's just so funny to see the difference between
But a cat
the
owner.
cat owner and the dog owners
Well,
and
and
how
the
they
cats
describe
don't
their
let you
pets.
learn all those things about them. They're like,
No, only if they feel like it.
that's only if they
Peppy
feel
with
like
your
it.
eyes.
My sister-in-law has gotten into these Maine Coon cats.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh,
those are
those
big.
are
Oh my
huge.
gosh! And she's got 2 of them,
Those are huge.
and
they're very furry.
They're like her
They're very
children.
furry.
They're like her children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have a kind of breed I saw the other day. I saw one live. It had stripes. It looked like a tiger and it was
Mhm.
huge.
Yeah, they're like 40 pounds
Yes.
for a cat.
And it was
It's amazing.
huge. And the fur was like super soft, but it looked like a striped tiger. I don't know what the name, or if somebody wants to add in the comments what that was, please do, because I don't know the name of it.
So you're a
But
cat person or dog person?
I'm a dog person.
Me
all
too.
The way.
I'm a dog person. Cat or dog?
Dog, but I love all animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
like an
of
animal
course.
person. I
Well,
can't help myself.
Yep.
You get that honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've created this monster in our yard because my husband buys 50-pound bags of deer corn. And so now
Oh,
we have
no. Oh, my
like
gosh.
herds of deer
Wow.
and all kinds of birds and lots of babies. I mean, I was driving home this week
Oh,
and it was
that's
lots
sweet.
of small ones running around.
They're so
But my
cute.
dog, who's about the size of the deer, doesn't understand why they don't want to play.
Oh.
But it's like, but they don't even run away from us anymore.
yeah.
You know what I mean? We
They're
open
your
up the door, get
pets.
to
Do
the
you
car.
live in the city?
No,
Oh,
I live
okay.
in
I was going
North
to say
Hall.
the city
She's in
deer.
North Hall.
The city deer are not afraid of anything.
No,
They come right up to you.
they get plenty of food.
Yeah.
That's right.
They are not
But I
afraid.
digress.
Right. Right. So just one of the things with the Petsies, the greatest thing I found about Petsies and Frankie's company, there are a lot of companies that are out there that do
Pictures of dogs. Yeah.
right, and do the stuffed animal. But what I see is that they do a great job for people especially who have lost a pet. For Terry Lampkin, our spa manager, when she lost one of her dogs, it devastated her. It was just something, a very difficult loss. Like I've got a 16-year-old Moshi. When it goes, I want a Petsy.
Yeah.
Yes.
She is still
Bella
here.
Boo.
Yeah, my little Bella. We thought she was gonna have an
They
execution
hang
day,
on. They hang
but
on.
we called a stay execution, so she's still with us. We just couldn't
Sweet
do
girl.
it. Couldn't do it.
She looked us in the eyes and we were like,
Nope,
Nope.
not doing it. But anyway, the amount of feeling that happens when you are able to get that pet. Now you open it up out of the box and it looks identical. I mean, they look at every aspect. They get like 5, have you send as many photos as
Yeah.
possible.
all angles.
Amazing. It's
Yeah.
really amazing. We didn't have Chance with us today, but he was amazing. So we might be able to shoot up some pictures of some of these Petsies. But Frankie, tell us more a little bit about some of the things that you came up with to do after some of these natural disasters we've had.
Well, we actually worked with some organizations in LA after the fires, and we saw that there was a lot of loss of comfort items. Obviously, there was plenty of people on top of providing food, shelter, and all of those items. But there is something to be said about our plushies, about our comfort items, and especially with children losing
Mhm.
those and
Losing everything.
losing
Everything,
everything,
yeah.
everything. And so we worked with a couple of different organizations, Last Stuffy Project, who were connecting us with families who could no longer find the stuffed animal that they lost. So some of these stuffed animals were replaceable. And I say replaceable, but you were able to find
Same thing.
the same thing
Yeah.
online. But there were some stuffed animals that they had since they were babies. They had been given from their parents' parents,
Right.
it like was a family heirloom of
Like
sorts.
a 100-year-old bunny, with its
Yes.
ear sewn back on 3 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
cannot find an alternative online. And so they sent us the photos, as many as they
Aw.
could, and we replaced them for
That
free.
is amazing.
Yeah, we made sure that we tried to get it as exact as we possibly could. We're working within plush limitations. Of course, we have specific materials, but we were able to replicate as many as we could. And we had people who were also sending in stuffed animal donations. So we worked with a couple of other organizations to be able to send bulk plushies out there just for like comfort bags.
Yeah, so kids could have something to
Exactly.
hug.
Well, that's
Exactly.
one of the things that law enforcement does. They carry
Teddy bears,
teddy
isn't
bears
it?
along
Yeah.
with them if they have a child that's involved in a crime or ancillary to a crime, so that they've got something to help with that. And that's important to do.
Mhm.
I think that's so exciting that you
Yeah.
can make it so special and individual. And there's probably people out there that can do these kinds of things, but I think what's important is you kind of marry the individual nature of it along
Mhm.
with some of the charitable work that you do.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what makes it personal. That's what makes it personal.
And we've added a lot of comfort upgrades
Mhm.
along the way because,
I love it. Comfort
Comfort
upgrades.
upgrades.
Comfort
That sounds like a
upgrades.
I will
spa
take
product.
a comfort upgrade.
Well,
Yeah.
because a lot of these products help people during grieving. We've added weighted pellets. We've added heartbeat inserts.
Oh, wow.
There's memory pockets.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, so memory pockets. So sometimes people
Ashes?
for the ashes. And we've worked with a lot of families who have children in NICU to create mommy daddy dolls with the heartbeat insert so that they could be with the
Oh my
baby
gosh,
when
I
they
didn't
can't
know.
be. And then we've worked with a lot of retirement communities or memory
Aw.
care facilities, and we recreate their childhood pet. And we have seen amazing results
That's
with
amazing.
recognition and
Yeah.
comfort, and just incredible stories from, the managers of these resident facilities who are,
So in my individual kind of job that I had before everything started, in my media job, I was a buyer for Riches, and I bought the items. I was the toy buyer for Riches, and so we would buy things like bears
Right.
or Teddy Rushton, if you remember that. That was the one with the heartbeat. That they all
yeah.
looked
Yeah.
alike, but they had the heartbeat.
Teddy
in it. That was kind
Ruxpin.
of the first Ruxpin. That Ruxpin,
Mhm.
that's right. And then there were all kinds of other things like that, that we did in the big. The idea was to sell 10,000 of them or
Right.
20,000 of them.
Just get them out
Just
there.
get them out there. But this is unique because you're getting this individual kind of thing that's happening. It's exciting.
Yeah. So she's how many years now have you been with this
About
company?
9, I feel like. I blinked and it's been about 9
Right.
years.
And
That's
you know,
crazy.
the
Which is
other cool little
crazy.
things are like one year we had pajamas for
Oh,
the fathers
yes.
of my little grandchildren, and they had their child's picture all over the pajamas.
Yeah,
Oh,
those
that's
are
It was
my
the
cool.
favorite.
greatest thing I've ever
Yes,
seen.
we
So
do.
the dads were wearing Christmas Day
Yes.
their child on their pajamas.
So they actually wore them.
They did. We
Yes.
Okay.
made them.
Well, they're at my house. It was either wear them or get out.
Oh, I know. I tell you, Lynn Zoller would never do that, but that's okay. That's
Yes.
That's
okay.
hysterical.
Yeah, we have many other keepsakes as well. We do the custom pajamas. A lot of people during Christmas do
Keychains.
family matching.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, with their pets and the kiddos
Yep.
on their pajamas. We do keychains. We do pillows. This is a chewy pillow.
This is her little.
Yes, this is my cockapoo,
Oh, that's cute.
my elderly choo choo. He
I
is
have one
blind
like
and deaf,
this.
but
I have one like
love
this
him.
of Milton, the
Oh,
donkey.
Yes,
Yeah.
very nice.
all animals welcome.
All animals welcome. That's a good one to see because they're much better than people in most cases.
Yeah, that's true. So that's exciting. Any other questions for Frankie?
Well, I mean, I just want to see, where do you see your charitable work going? Because I got to believe there's always new ideas related to that, and
Yeah.
especially where do you see that going, or is there anything you can tell us about that you're working on now?
Yes, actually, we're working on something really, really sweet. And I usually, when I'm having these meetings with people, I can compartmentalize when I'm talking about these sort of things. And this one, actually, we all broke down in the meeting because it's just, yeah, we were all like, oh my gosh. So there's this nonprofit called Tiny Superheroes. And when the kids are going through cancer treatment, they send them a free cape. And through each and every one of they get chemo treatment, they get a patch. They have a surgery, they get a patch.
Oh
And
gosh, I'm getting
so
goosebumps on that.
Mhm.
we are working with them to create little lookalike dolls of the kids with their own superhero cape.
Yes, I love
And
that.
yes, and then a lot of these with comfort upgrades. So if it wants the heartbeat and the weighted options, we can do those as well. But the one thing that got me is that they have a blue cape for when the child has passed. And we're gonna
Oh,
I know. I was like, who?
Yeah.
But we're looking to work with them in the future, and they're an amazing
Yeah, I mean,
organization.
that
that's
sounds
got to be, I
amazing.
mean, obviously, they've made so much progress, so
Yeah.
much progress,
Thank goodness.
but you're still not going to win in every case,
No. Yeah.
and unfortunately, I'm a believing Christian,
Yeah.
and I believe that whether you live 5 years or 500 years, that's a blink of an eye
In
when you're
in the
talking about
midst of
eternity,
eternity.
okay?
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
it's still very difficult because you never want that to happen. You want
No.
it to be you. Every parent I've ever talked
Would
to,
rather put
they would have
themselves.
rather they go than their
Mhm.
child.
Absolutely.
And so wow, that's an amazing.
Yeah, so for us, just to provide even an ounce of something comforting to
Yeah.
them, we're like, where do we
Yes.
sign up? How
Where
do
do you
we
sign
Yeah,
up? That's
exactly.
great.
How do we help? So
So if people want to know more about Budsies and they want to get one, maybe they either want to get involved in one of your charitable things or they have an idea for a Budsie they want to make. How can they do that?
well, you can visit budsies.com. It's budsies.com. And you can see all of our awesome products there. We have tons of keepsakes, tons of, cute little giftable items for the holidays in every budget,
Talk about just real quick. The holidays do become a problem when you're ordering custom made
Yes.
things online. So that just brought that up
Deadlines.
to me.
Are you
Yeah.
thinking deadlines?
You may
Deadlines and
want to
commitments.
mention to anybody that's listening that may want to order a Budsies or get a Petsy
Go for it.
during the holidays.
Go for it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
We actually start our pre-holiday sale in September because we're encouraging people to order early. It's about educating people in the custom plush process. It takes a long time. It can be 6 weeks. It can be 8 weeks. It can be even longer during the
They have to be
holidays.
patient.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we usually try and cut our holiday orders off by Black Friday. We try to make it as close to Black
Yes.
Friday as possible. But when you're ordering custom, you've got to get it in early. Otherwise, there is a risk that it might not be guaranteed. We'll always take the order. I always tell everybody, we will absolutely take your order. It just might not arrive in time for Christmas if it
So,
doesn't
I'm thinking
get there.
about this, if you have like a group shot of a family, can you pull out individual children out of that group shot?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Okay,
our
that's an
team,
idea.
Martha's
Yeah.
got an
I got an idea.
our team also will work with you. They'll send you an email back and forth, clarifying hair color, clarifying
Yes.
eye color, what you want.
They could even do the group shot on a pillow.
Yes.
We've done a lot
of
of
everybody.
Yeah,
too.
we've done a lot
Yeah.
of pillows that way as well. We
Yeah.
have the square pillows, your traditional throw pillows, as well as the shaped ones.
And
Very
this being a
exciting.
wellness podcast, I think it fits right in because part of wellness is providing something wonderful to the world around you, knowing things that you can have some sort of understand how it operates so that you can maybe provide some comfort to someone or make someone's Christmas by doing something customized. And that's all a part of wellness. Wellness is not just like we've talked about already a million times in our little podcasts that we've had, not many, but this is a theme. It's about what you do, how you think.
Well, and I see too
this
that
is amazing.
it ought to feed into your strength, not your weakness.
Yeah.
And comfort shouldn't be seen as a weakness, number
Absolutely.
one. But number two, what it should do, in my mind, is it helps you become strong again.
Yes.
Because that's the goal. Because we all have to go through, I've talked before on the podcast about my friend, Mr. Kinder, who's 100 years old. And
Mr. Kinder.
and he, he's had a lot of loss in his life. His wife has died, his daughter has
at
died.
100.
He's lost a lot of friends, that kind of thing. But he's just so positive and just gets through every day. Do
That
you know what I
mindset.
mean? And he gets up and he's got a place to go. And I remember last time I saw him, he said, "I know you really miss your mother-in-law," because my mother-in-law died
Right.
about a year ago. "But I'm having my best life." And here you are, 100 years old, and you feel like this is your best life.
That's
so
amazing.
So you've got to find that balance, I think, in wellness and
Mhm.
comfort and strength.
Right.
Because the difference between the ones that make it and don't make it, and I'm not talking about dying, I'm talking about living. Okay.
Yes.
The difference in the people that make it and don't make it are the ones that can make that transition.
Right. And bring joy.
Yes.
It's joy too
Yeah.
that just surrounds that person. They're just happy every day to be here.
If you guys want a dose of joy, go look at our YouTube channel
Yes.
and watch the unboxing videos because
YouTube.
they are
Ooh, that's a good one, too.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
watching
unboxing.
these kids unbox their creation, watching, and it's not even just children, it's adults
Even-
as well.
There's people that are just bawling when they pull
Oh
their
my
dog that
gosh,
it passed out of the
yes.
box, or these kids
The
that see their
excitement.
drawing come to life and they're holding it going, "What?"
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's just a feel good thing to do. So even if you guys, when you finish watching our YouTube show and telling all your friends
and like
about
and
it,
subscribe.
liking and subscribing our show, you could go to the Budsies YouTube channel and like and subscribe there, and you get a constant flow of education, joy, creativity, and it's just all things wellness.
Absolutely. So, Frankie, give them the website one more time.
It's budsies.com, budsies.com. And then from there, you can check out our Petsies, our selfies, our puppets. This is a puppet, which is really fun because kids are now
Oh, the kids
designing their
love
own
those.
puppets.
I love puppets.
Yeah.
I love puppets.
Yeah,
So-
the puppets are great.
Yes.
Absolutely. So thank you for being here today. Appreciate it
Thanks
very
for
much.
having me.
And, we love that you come back every week, and we're going to be back every week talking with you about something important in your idea and your journey in wellness. So thank you for being with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Because you all know that your wellness deserves a little oversharing.